The Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakang'o, now says she was under duress to approve the withdrawal and use of billions of shillings by several government departments at the tail end of President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration, while appearing before the National Assembly's Public Petitions Committee, probing the alleged illegal use of 55 billion shillings as raised in a petition by COFEC Secretary General Stephen Mutoro. Nyakang'o acknowledges that despite raising red flags over the intended use of some of the withdrawals, she okayed their use based on answers given as well as threats to her, singling out former Treasury CS Ukur Yatani. As NTV's Ibrahim Karanja now reports, says the 6.1 billion shillings used for the government's takeover of Telecom Kenya, another 4 billion shillings for maize subsidy, and 17 billion shillings fuel subsidy are some of the funds that should be put to an audit.
Treasury made a requisition for 6.1 billion shillings for the government takeover of Telecom Kenya just 3 days before last year's general election. According to Controller of Budget Margaret Nyakang'o, who appeared before the National Assembly's Public Petitions Committee, there was no documentation or minutes in support of using the monies by basis of Article 223 of the Constitution on supplementary spending, save from a contract between then Treasury CS Ukur Yatani and Jamhuri Holdings. The money is being part of 69.49 billion shillings, which the Controller of Budget approved to be used under Article 223 against what the Treasury CS had approved in 139.6 billion shillings. Within the same week, Nyakang'o further tells the committee that there was yet another requisition for 2.2 billion shillings by the Ministry of Defence for the construction of a Level 4 hospital for the Defence Ministry. Though she says she allowed the approval, she raised questions on the nature and the urgency of the use. On the now defunct Nairobi Metropolitan Services NMS, the Controller of Budget says that there was a requisition to withdraw in excess of 2.9 billion shillings to be used for pending bills, yet invoices for claims worth 411 million shillings is what could be provided.
Again was a big controversy, and I sought to see the resolutions which meeting had approved this, and there were basically no minutes, but I was given a contract document.
However, it is the claim that she was under pressure from the previous government and the move to attach WhatsApp messages from former Treasury boss Ukur Yatani, in which he pushed for the approval of 1 billion shillings for the presidency and a further 8 billion shillings and 2 billion shillings for the Department of Infrastructure that act members of the committee. She claims she may have signed to approve the use of 15.5 billion shillings under duress, even as she falls gaps in Article 223 for not providing her office with avenues to ensure prudent use of public monies.
One of the observations of our sister committee is that almost 50% of what we are talking about occurred on 4th and 5th of August. Those 2 days. You want to tell me that doesn't raise an eyebrow? 60% of these billions we are talking about occurred on 2 days.
This article is greatly abused. What we see here really cannot be justified. This is what it borders on abuse.
Though she approved withdrawals of 4 billion shillings for maize flour subsidy and a further 17 billion shillings for fuel subsidy, the Controller of Budget calls for audit of the same monies. The Controller also mentioning a misuse of the annuity fund by the Treasury.
Very urgent, and it needed to be done. Yes, and I have correspondence to that effect of the questions that I raised, of what Mr. Ndungu, the DG Accounting Services, what he replied, and when he gave me the document, that signed document. By the time I'm doing the funding aspect, the CS National Treasury has already approved, has already said this is okay and it's going to go on.
The heated morning session at the committee sought to establish facts in a petition by the Consumer Federation of Kenya Secretary General Stephen Mutoro that the Uhuru Kenyatta administration illegally used in excess of 55 billion shillings without the approval of Parliament. Treasury CS Professor Njuguna Ndungu would for the second time snub the committee, asking for 4 weeks to prepare a response. Committee Chair Nimrod Mbui would, however, have none of it. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV.